My key to success for you or for anybody else is make sure you're the first one in there every day and the last one to leave. Don't ever take a lunch break or go to the bathroom. You keep working. You never know when that opportunity is going to come along.
If you want to make change, you've got to do it yourself.
If you can find something you really enjoy doing, you should lean into that.
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business.
Living that believe in life. Out here living that believe in life. Every day we living that believe in life. Hustle like we living that believe in life. Living life, yeah, so we grinding it out. Every single day we be grinding it out. Hustle like we living that believe in life, oh. That believe in life, oh.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn the top 10 rules to success from the 2020 presidential candidates. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Work hard with Michael Bloomberg.
I'm not smarter than anybody else, but I can outwork you. And my key to success for you or for anybody else is make sure you're the first one in there every day and the last one to leave. Don't ever take a lunch break or go to the bathroom. You keep working. You never know when that opportunity is going to come along. And at Salomon Brothers, the managing partner of the company, Bill Salomon, was the second person in. I was the only other one in the big trading room. So if he had needed to borrow a match, in those days people smoked cigars, and if he wanted to ask something about a newspaper or a stock, he came over, and so we became buddies. I would never have gotten to talk to the managing partner of a big company on a first-name basis if it wasn't for the fact that the two of us are there. Billy, I'm getting coffee. Would you like some? And I can bring, that. And at the end of the day, the number 2 guy, John Goodfriend, he was the last one to leave, except for me. And we'd share a cab going uptown or take the subway train going uptown together. And, every opportunity I ever had, it was, I think, a lot of them was because I was there at the time. And that's the one thing you can control. You can't control your luck, but the harder you work, the luckier you get. You can't control that you're the smartest guy. There'll always be somebody smarter. But if you're there, then you absorb things, you put things together in ways that if you didn't have all that experience, it's like skiing. I've said reading a book on skiing doesn't teach you how to ski.
Yeah.
You got to go and you got to ski and get lots of miles under your skis. And incidentally, if you don't fall, you're not skiing hard enough and you're not learning anything. So if your career has ups and downs, I got fired, didn't turn out so bad. But, you can start a little business and maybe it doesn't work. And after a while, you got to be smart enough to say, hey, I tried it. Don't let your ego get in the way. I can't keep doing this. I've got to earn a living. But, a year from now, I'm going to come up with a better idea and then I'll go back and do it again.
Rule number 2, take action with Amy Klobuchar.
When our daughter was born, she was really sick. She was in intensive care. And back then, the insurance companies had a rule that you were kicked out in 24 hours, no matter what was going on. And I remember thinking, I bet this wouldn't happen to the wife of the insurance company CEO. That made me realize, you know what? If you want to make change, you've got to do it yourself. I went to the legislature as a mom and got one of the first laws passed in the country guaranteeing new moms and their babies a 48-hour hospital stay. And what I most remember about that is people were saying they were for it, but they were trying to delay the bill from taking effect. So I brought 6 pregnant friends to the conference committee. So they outnumbered the lobbyists 2-1. And when the legislators said, when should this bill take effect? All the pregnant moms raised their hand. They're like, now. And that's exactly what happened. They moved up the effective date. It became the law.
Rule number 3, do what you love with Andrew Yang.
You want, what I say to young people, and this is going to sound like that bullshit movie advice you got, that there was a period where I don't believe that advice, but it's going to become better advice over time. It's really important to find something that you enjoy and like, because if you enjoy it, then you're more likely to invest time in it and become good at it and develop skills that are resilient over time. So believe it or not, if you're a young person, if you can find something you really enjoy doing, you should lean into that. And a lot of that revolves around interpersonal dynamics and skills, because team building is going to become crucial over time in a world where, dealing with people is going to become a massive value add. So that's one thing I'd say is, and it sounds like 80s movie is advice or something, but if you can find something you like doing, just really try and get good at it.
Rule number 4, bet on yourself with Tom Steyer.
You were a rising star at Goldman when Wall Street was booming, and then in less than a year, you had moved to San Francisco to start up a small merger arbitrage hedge fund. What gave you the confidence to make this sudden change?
So let's be clear, when I moved back out here from Goldman, first of all, my wife and I wanted to live west of the Mississippi, period. So I knew that Goldman Sachs was in New York, and therefore I was going to have to leave. It's also true that I got in a gigantic fight with the guy I was working for, and therefore I felt like under no circumstances do I want to continue to go to work and see that guy every morning, which was not a great career move. But also I felt like one of the things I love about investing is you can measure the results. And I felt like if I do a bad job at Goldman Sachs, they're going to fire me. If I do a bad job on my own, I'm also going to get fired. But if I do a good job on my own, I have much more upside than I do at Goldman Sachs. And so I didn't think I was taking more risk because I felt like either way, if you don't do a good job in life, it doesn't work out. So I was more than willing to bet on myself in the sense that if you're taking that risk anyway, why not at least give yourself the upside?
Also, if you want to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
Maybe someone in your family has lost their job and there's not enough money to go around. Maybe you live in a neighborhood where you don't feel safe or have friends who are pressuring you to do things you know aren't right.
You know, some people hate spiders, some people hate snakes. I hated poverty. I couldn't stand it.
Did you ever throw a Bible at your husband?
No, I didn't.
Do you have a terrible temper?
No, but I do get angry about things. I'm not going to deny that.
Rule number 5, inspire others with Julian Castro.
Is it inspiring to have like young people coming up to you and talking to you? And
a few years ago, when I was 30 years old, I ran to become the city's youngest elected mayor ever, and I lost. But one of the things I remembered about the campaign was that during the campaign, a lot of parents would come up to me and they wanted to introduce their daughter or their son so that they could point and say, you can do that. Because when I was walking these halls, I never imagined that I would be the one that people would be coming up to and saying, hey, you know, can I take a picture with you? Or, you know, I hope I can do what you did.
Rule number 6, stand up for what you believe with Bernie Sanders.
What advice do you have for young people who have a passion for politics and potentially want to pursue careers in politics and political and public service?
This is my advice, okay? I don't like the word passion for politics. What I prefer is, and you got to go into your own heart on this one, passion for justice, okay? I have talked to a lot of people. You know, when you're a senator, you talk to a lot of people. And kids come up to me and they say, oh, I want to be a governor, I want to be president, I want to be a senator. And that doesn't interest me at all. What interests me is when somebody tells me they're concerned about the healthcare crisis in America, or they're concerned about poverty. How can they do something about that? There are a lot of ways you can do it. One of the ways is running for office, not the only way. We're raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, not because of political decisions. It started with grassroots activism, actually. Then politics kicked in. So I would say, to answer your question, is number one, go into your gut. Go into your gut. And that's not necessarily easy. What do you believe? What do you really believe? Think about it. It's not something you'll know right away. What are your passions? Do you have the courage to stand up to people who want to reject you and push you around? Okay? And if you have those qualities, jump in. I mean, politics and getting involved, it's been, you know, to me, an extraordinary ride. When I was mayor of Burlington, you know what we did? We literally broke down the door of City Hall. We almost literally did that. We took on an entire establishment, which, by the way, to answer the question, was a Democratic party. And we took them, pushed them aside. We brought hundreds and hundreds of people into the political process. We started programs for young people, for old people, for women, in the environment, for the arts. It was an extraordinary experience. We just, so much excitement, so much energy. All right, it was a lot of fun. But the main thing you have to do, don't do it if you're just thinking about in a career. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. Think about it as a mechanism, one way that you can bring change to this world. And if that's what you want, go for it and have the guts to stand up and fight for what you believe.
Rule number 7, get rid of credit card debt with Elizabeth Warren.
What's an unexpected step we can take, help prepare ourselves for a financial emergency?
Get rid of the most dangerous thing in your wallet, and that is your credit card.
Your credit card, okay.
if you're carrying credit card debt, I'm serious about this, I really am. Credit card debt is incredibly dangerous to carry. And the way to think about this is if you're carrying a balance from month to month to month, it should be like a warning light goes off. You know, bells are ringing every time you pull that credit card out again. Because it means not only are you not making your monthly expenses, you're spending more than you've got, it means you're paying more because you're paying interest on all that. And if something goes wrong, you're already in a little bit of trouble. And a little bit of trouble can turn into a lot of trouble in a hurry. So I'm really down on credit card debt.
Rule number 8, be a leader with Pete Buttigieg.
I had experiences with bullying when I was growing up. And everybody who's different can be bullied. And the secret is everybody's different in some way. So the first thing you got to know is you have nothing to be ashamed of. And the second part, and this is a much harder part to remember, is that the person who's bullying you probably has something a little broken in them. It's part of why they're trying to get your attention. That they want to get a response out of you. They want to kind of control a situation because something else in their life isn't going well, and they don't feel they have control in a bigger way. It sounds familiar, yeah. I think it really matters that we have a president who doesn't show that kind of behavior. It's one of the reasons I'm running for president. So the hard part, if you really want to just take all the air out of that bullying, is turn to a bully and ask if they're okay. And they won't know what to do with you. You have control over whether that bully makes you into a worse version of yourself or a better version of yourself. The best thing you can do to show them and push them away is to not let them have that power over you. When you're being bullied, somebody else is watching, and they don't know what to do. Maybe they'll laugh along with the bully because they're nervous and they're afraid too. And so when you show that it doesn't get to you, when you show that you got the bigger heart, there are people who you won't even realize are going to follow your lead. And you ought to think of yourself as a leader, especially in that moment when somebody's trying to break you down. And you could make a whole bunch of people's lives better as you go.
Rule number 9, take responsibility with Cory Booker.
So if you're using your social media only for trivialities, then you're not being an advocate for justice. And so if you say, I'm going to be consistent once a week posting about this issue, I'm going to get folk woke and hopefully get some action done. I just forget millennials. Anybody who is young, every generation of youth are usually at the center of great justice movements all around the planet Earth. And so you decide, what am I going to do? Am I going to be a spectator, or am I going to be a participant? Am I going to be sitting back watching the world, or am I going to be one of those people finding ways every day to challenge the world? Because we have one choice to make every day of our lives. In fact, every hour of our lives, we accept things as they are, or we take some responsibility for changing them.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is follow your heart with Joe Biden.
Dear Joe, you're only 12. Your stutter is debilitating. It embarrasses you, and the bullies are vicious. But listen to Mom when she says, bravery resides in every heart, and yours is fierce and clear. Listen to Dad when he says, Joey, when you get knocked down, get up. Get up. Because if you listen, you'll summon the bravery to overcome the stutter, and you'll learn to stand up to bullies. You'll learn from Dad, who moved the family to look for work, that a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect.
Hi, how are you?
Hi,
Joe
how are
Biden's
you?
my name.
And that's why you'll follow your heart and serve your community, your state, and your country. And intolerance for the abuse of power will drive you to stand up for civil rights.
Damn it, we have favorites in South Africa. The favorites in South Africa are the people who are being repressed.
And because you listened, You'll live a life fully consistent with what you were taught by mom and dad and your faith. That you should say what you mean and mean what you say. Leading by the power of example will define you. And one day, you'll find yourself forging a relationship with the Jesuit Pope who embodies that universal truth.
Now I have a special bonus clip with Donald Trump on how to create your own luck. But before that, I'm curious, what do you think? Do you like this video? It's a new style that we're playing with to try to shine some light on the election and maybe learn some things from the candidates in a positive way without them just slamming each other. Let me know what you think. Put it down in the comments below. And if you're still here watching this video, I want to celebrate you. Thank you so much. Give me a hashtag believe in the comments as well.
What would be one word of advice you would have for an upcoming businessman, for a future businessman?
Knowledge. Knowledge. But if it's one word's very hard for that, but the word is knowledge. But you get knowledge through experience. One of the things people talk about is luck. And I do believe that people are lucky, and some people are luckier than others. I do believe that. But there's also an expression, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I can tell you 10 instances where I didn't quit when it was 1990, the world was coming down, the debt markets were, everybody, all of my friends and enemies were going bankrupt. I never did. And the times were actually just terrible. And even today, you look at times and you see what happens and you have to learn. But the word luck is very interesting. But if I didn't work really hard, I probably would not, almost definitely would not be here today. And unless you had me up as a man who at one point was successful, but let's see what a loser looks like. So you have to work hard, because it is true, you can develop luck through hard work.
If you want 10 more rules for success from Warren Buffett, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.